Broadcasting live.
Listen live online 24/7.
24/7. Around the world.
Right here. Right now.
It's 300 Radio.
And you know this, man.
Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Scott Free Morning Show. I am your gracious host, Scott Free himself, Mr. L. Scott. And you see it on the screen, brain fog. That's what we're going to be discussing today, guys. We're going to be discussing brain fog. But before we dive into that, I just want to tell you guys really quick where I've been. Like I said, I took a couple of days off due to the fact of this pollen has been going crazy. But I'm back at it. We're going to get this thing rocking and rolling. We're gonna do things a little bit different today. We have been doing a lot of heavy political shows lately, and that's not the basis of what Scott Free Morning Show was supposed to have been about. Now, we're gonna cover political topics, yes, but it was supposed to have been an area for people to come get all walks of life to basically come in and get something out of this. And like I say, knowing that I am a health practitioner, please forgive me for not diving enough into this background and giving you guys enough game in this subject. But I did pull out a filler a couple of days ago and asked people what's one subject medically or health-wise that they wanted me to cover. And boom, out the gate, this is the first one. So we're going to be discussing brain fog is what we're going to be doing. But before I do it, let me do this fair use thing, because if I don't, I know how these social media platforms is. They will flag me in a minute. So let's use this fair use so I can play this video and I'll come right back.
Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
All right, I am back. So we're not going to waste any time talking about this. Let me get my music down for a second. We're not going to waste any time. The reason why I put this on the screen is because a lot of people don't even know what brain fog is. So you could be suffering from it right now. I actually suffered with it for over 10 years, and we're going to get into it. But I want to get a quick synopsis and explanation of what it is. So I'm not going to step away, but I'm going to play this quick video real quick. So this my man right here, he's going to do a good job of explaining what brain fog is. So that way, when I dive in, you'll have a reference point of where I'm going and what I'm saying. All right, hold on a second.
Brain fog is honestly debilitating, and if you've never experienced it before, I applaud you, and I think that you are very, very fortunate, because for those people that have dealt with it before, they basically feel like a walking zombie, that they can't think clearly. It's not the same as just forgetting your keys or not remembering where you parked. That's not brain fog necessarily. Brain fog is literally feel like you're thinking in slow motion, that you're in a bit of a haze, and it oftentimes correlates and corresponds with lower energy overall. So brain fog is like living in a fog. That's what it feels like. It just takes you a while to process what you're reading, what someone's saying to you. You feel groggy overall, and it oftentimes correlates or again corresponds with other conditions such as low mood, low energy, low libido, low drive, low ambition, like all of those things. Brain fog is honestly debilitating.
Cool. So
and if you've never...
All right, so with that being said, now I'm going to get that off the screen because I know
it's time for the chill report.
It's about to go down.
Sorry, guys. I don't know why I'd be doing that sometimes. All right, so with that being said, so let me get this off the screen. All right, so let's get that off the screen. I'm just doing the most today. All right. So off the screen. So now we have a reference point for what brain fog is. And like I said, I suffered with it for over 10 years. So now if you're suffering from any of the things that he just discussed, and that this is the place you want to be. I want to discuss how, first and foremost, it happened to me, how it came on, how it affected my life, and then some of the things that I did to help me get through it. Okay. And hopefully this conversation, and I'm not going to hold you guys too long today. Like I said, I am an emotional podcaster, and my heart today said I need to discuss this with you guys. So this is what we're going to talk about today. So let's back up to the year of 2015. It was around August or September the first time it happened. So this is what happened. So August 2015, I'm in the middle of a conversation, and as you can see, I am a talker. And I was talking one day in the middle of the conversation and completely lost my thought. Now, have I ever lost a thought before that? Yes, you've been in conversation before. You know how it goes. You'd be like, damn, what was I saying? But no, this time when I say I had no reference point, no recollection, it was almost like I seriously blanked out. But it was the first time it ever happens. I didn't think much of it. I moved on. Didn't have any issues for like another month or so. So now let me fast forward to maybe about, say, October. And I'm going to tell you why I knew we bypassed those months is because in between that August and September, I went on a job interview and I had a quick job at that moment and I could think fine. So I knew nothing was the problem. But I'll say about October. I say about November 2015. I'm on the phone and I'm gonna tell you when it hit me. I'm on the phone I was trying to set up a business phone call. I'm a phone line. If you ever started a business before, you know that to get some type of business credit, you have to have a dedicated business line. So I was setting up a dedicated business line at the moment. So I'm on the phone with the lady and she's asking me questions about the business, you know, the EIN number, the purpose of the business, the whole nine. And when I tell you, everything blanked out. Everything. I didn't know the name of the business. I didn't understand what the business was about. I didn't even know what I was on the phone, who I was on the phone with. I panicked. I hung up. I remember thinking to myself, this is crazy. This just doesn't make any sense. What is this? And that was the first time it happened. So just like my man said in the video, so after that, it started getting worse every day. It would have moments of the day where I couldn't remember where I was at. And don't get me wrong, these are little bursts, maybe 5 or 10 seconds at a time. What's my name? What am I doing? I'm looking at the clock. It's 10:30, but I'm looking at 10:30 and I'm not understanding what 10:30 is. Does that make sense? I'm looking at the t-shirt I got on says Goldberg. I was saying, now I'm Goldberg. I'm Goldberg. I'm saying the word Goldberg, but what is a Goldberg? I don't understand. The comprehension wasn't there. I was confused. And this happened a lot. This happened every day, all day. It happened all day long. And I couldn't understand what it was. Now, at the same time, simultaneously, my health was out of order. I was overweight. I take it back. Let me slow it down. A few years before that, and I don't want to get too long into this because I don't want to make this video too long, but a few years before that, I was extremely overweight. I had ballooned up to like 260 pounds. I'm 6 feet. I had ballooned up to like 260 pounds, overweight. I was smoking a pack of cigarettes a day, drinking a pint of liquor a day. I was a writer and doing stand-up comedy at the time. And if you know anything about this business, it's go, go, go. You have to be able to produce something. So I was writing and smoking and hanging out at the comedy clubs every night. This is what my life was. And it all came crashing down. I had heart palpitations, sleep apnea, they put it's a little thing. I forgot the heart monitor thing on me. I had to wear it for like a week. And I'm gonna tell you what changed for me. I'll tell you quick. So I went to the doctor. This little East Indian lady, a little short, little stubby woman. She came in and she said to me, after taking my vitals and everything like this, she came in with a glass of water and a big ass aspirin. She said, I'm gonna need you to take this aspirin with this water and then go directly to the hospital because I think you're ready to have a heart attack. Now, scared the shit out of me instantly. So I go down to the hospital. I spent all day down there. They ran tests on me, the whole nine. Oddly enough, I didn't have good insurance at the time. And I'm going to tell you how I know I didn't have good insurance at that time. Family, do you know they never even diagnosed me with anything? I stayed in there all day long. They gave me a battery of tests, the whole nine. I never got diagnosed with it. But when I went home, I knew something had to change. Hearing that you're going to have a heart attack is enough for a brother like myself to literally get everything in order. So what I did right after that is I went running. Anytime I wanted to smoke, I just went running. I went cold turkey. I stopped smoking instantly. This was around, what year was this? Was 2013. This was around, can't can't remember exactly what month, but all I know, no, October, that's what it was. Because I remember I had my very last cigarette in my life, October the 12th, 2013. So, and like I say, having a doctor tell you that you're ready to have a heart attack is enough to make you stop smoking for me. So I haven't had a cigarette since that moment. And I would tell you, find something that motivates you like that. It was easy. I would tell people I never struggled with giving it up. And I smoked cigarettes for 16 years. And it was not a struggle for me to give it up. It's just feeling like you have to die. But I'm getting along with it. So moving on. So basically, after that, I went vegan, guys. And I'm talking about, I was a hardcore. I started getting into Dr. Sebi, Dr. Africa. And then I went and got certified holistically. And right after that, that's what promoted me to go into becoming a health practitioner. And I went to school for that and got that knocked out. I studied a lot of what Dr. Africa and Dr. Sebi had to say, studied a lot of their books. And that dove me into all things holism to the point now I'm an herbalist as well. So it changed my life. Totally changed everything. Weight came off, sleep apnea disappeared, the heart palpitations disappeared. I'm doing well. Things is good. My life is changing. But then 2015, like I said, all this was happening at the same time. I'm kind of smashing everything together. But during that 10-year span, once my brain went out, I think, and I'm going to tell you why I think my veganism caused my brain fog. So after doing all those things for years, you know, when you have a vegan diet like I was doing, the one thing that I didn't do a lot of is I ate a lot of carbs, especially because once, let me back it up because I'm getting all over the place. I'll say it this way. To come back to the story, the brain fog, because I don't want to get sidetracked. And I was ready to start diving into my life story with you guys. But so what ended up happening is I think the veganism caused the brain fog because in the time span that I was veganism heavy, and I did it for almost 13 years straight, in that time frame, protein was not something I got a large portion of. If I got it, it was in very limited supply. I ate a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruits, but I'm not gonna lie, I ate a lot, especially towards the end of veganism. I ate a lot of processed things. Because I always tell people there's a very big difference between being plant-based and being vegan. If you want to be plant-based, not vegan, is really like a trickery. It's a trick thing. They have really dirtied up veganism. When I got into this thing, you was hard pressed to find any vegan products on the market at all. And now we're saturated with it, but then you have to watch all the ingredients they're putting in there. And so what I think happened doing veganism for me, and I say that to say this, I think what happened was I let the convenience of veganism take me out versus staying plant-based. And so in turn, the brain fog kicked in. The height of my brain fog came into play. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it was around 2020. This was around the beginning of COVID. I had suicidal thoughts, the whole nine. See, when you have, and I'm gonna speak to the people who maybe experienced this, so let me slow it down from here. Family, if you are experiencing moments to where you can't think straight, to where you can't read long passages without the words getting jumbled up, if it feels like you have a fading away feeling in your mind mentally to where thoughts and energy level goes away. Well, I'm trying to think of all the things that I went through during that time. And like I said, if you can't hold a conversation in fear that you can't stay in the conversation because you can't keep up with what the person is saying to you. What's another way that it affects? It just slows you down in so many different ways. You may be doing something you've done 1,000,000 times over, and then you find yourself not being able to even do that task easily. These are all the things that brain fogs cause. Now, if you're anything like me, you went to dive in to try to figure out what was going on. And after a battery of tests at the doctor's office, and I didn't start doing this until, because I started going to a regular MD, and I'm a health practitioner, but holism wasn't helping me. And then what I did is when I went to the doctor, I had a battery of tests done. So I saw the endocrinologist, I saw a rheumatologist, I saw I had MRIs done, I had brain scans done, I had EKGs, EEGs, I had a lot of stuff done to me, and came out that I had what is known as a autoimmune disease called Hashimoto's. That is what I was diagnosed with. Now, if you don't know anything about Hashimoto's disease, it is a thyroid deficiency that I have. Now, there's two types of thyroid deficiencies. You have a hyperthyroidism and a hypothyroidism. Hyper means your thyroid is working too fast. It is overproducing, and people who generally have hypothyroidism have extremely high metabolisms. People who have autoimmune issues or thyroid diseases that come along with that is like Graves' disease, their eyes bulge out of their head. These things are attached to hyperthyroidism. Hypothyroidism, what I have, means that shit don't work. If I don't eat a specific diet, if I don't if I don't exercise on a regular, weight is going to stick to me extremely fast because my metabolism is damn near to a crawl because of my Hashimoto's. So I have a really bad thyroid problem. In the process of that, one of the things as an herbalist that I subscribe to all of my clients that are going through any health issues a lot of times is Bladderwracks and sea moss. Especially if you take Bladderwracks and sea moss with burdock root, you're getting all of the minerals this realm provides in one shot. But I don't subscribe this to any of my people who have thyroid issues because we're struggling with the amount of iodine in our thyroids. So now imagine me for the last 10, 15 years not realizing that I had a thyroid problem. I'm taking amounts of Bladderwracks and sea moss and burdock root, things like this. And what I'm doing is I'm overly taxing my thyroid, which is in turn causing the brain fog to be even heavier in my mind. So what I found out was, and I'm saying all this to say this to you guys, what I found out that my brain fog that was coming from is, and I did everything, because let me say this too, when you go down a line of research, you run into a lot of different things. Self-diagnosis, I came up with Lyme disease, it fit that, MS, Parkinson's, any autoimmune. And I'm going to be honest, if you have one autoimmune, you're going to have them all. If you have them all, you have one. And what I mean when I say that is that a lot of times and I'm nobody's doctor, so let me say this, I'm not a doctor, so this is not medical advice, but a lot of the times they will come up with a lot of different names for the same disease or ailment because they can prescribe a lot of different medications for each one. So that's what that's about. But I had an autoimmune issue, so I knew from that moment on, once I got diagnosed with Hashimoto's, I have to get this under control if I want to be able to get my brain fog under control. Okay. So I would tell people, especially if you are a vegan suffering from brain fog, the thing that fixed me was incorporating back into my diet things like large amounts of protein. That's one, because I hadn't been eating it for years. So if you have cutting that out your diet, if you're eating plant-based, you've cut out a lot of protein out your diet. I'm going to tell you, you do not have to get it from a meat source, but you need to be bumping up your protein content. I'm talking about like yesterday. Get it in, get those amino acids in, get that in, get your fatty acids in, get those in heavy. And see, these are things that I was lacking on my diet. So that's the thing I would tell people, do that, exercise heavy. You have to get into heavy exercise. Our body is producing a lot of amounts of sugar because of all the foods that we have in it. A lot of the sugar in the foods that we're eating now have large amounts of sugar, so our body is storing it in our skin and our cells, and it's just eating away at us. When you lift heavy, you're kind of like squeezing it out. It's the way I like to tell people. You want to squeeze that sugar out of your system. It's a reason why so many people, especially in our culture, are pre-diabetic and diabetic. It's just it's an oversaturation of sugar, and that saturation of sugar and carbs, and see what it is when you eat carbs, remember, and I said I was eating vegetables, but I told you towards the end I started eating a lot of processed things. When you eat those processed items, they have a lot amount of hidden items. I don't know what's in them. So my final take on it is this is what I say to people. Like I said, this is a very short video, but my final take on the brain fog is this. When you are dealing with brain fog, here's some keys to getting over. On a day-to-day basis, make sure that you are consuming a large amount of healthy spring water. If you do not know if you have a healthy source of spring water, you have two ways of going about it. When you go to the grocery store now and they tell you that all these alkaline waters on the shelf, if that water is anything past 7.5, then you're drinking damn near bleach water. So chill out with all of that. the body doesn't want you to be alkaline. It doesn't want you to actually be acidic. It wants you to be right in the middle, which is called neutral. So you want a water that is actually coming in at 7.356 on the pH scale. That is neutral. If you come in at neutral on the pH scale with the water that you drink, your body will now become hydrated. When it becomes hydrated, it will become alkaline. When it becomes alkaline, no disease can live inside the body, not even brain fog. So get that water, get a high quality of water. The ones that I recommend that you should get off the shelf. Core Water is a very good one because it's affordable, and I think they have BPA-free plastic bottles. You can use that. I prefer you drink out of glass bottles. Drink out of brassware. There's certain different things you can drink out of. But if you have to be in on the convenience, I know how America is. If you're a convenient drinker of water, get you BPA-free bottles. So I recommend the bottle company named Core. What's another one? Fiji and Avion are good waters. They just, especially this is my problem with Fiji's water. Fiji, I do not think it's BPA-free plastic bottles, even though the water is amazing. It's coming right out of Fiji. But they put those waters on those boats and they ship them all over the world. Now imagine how hot it is coming out of the islands and you have plastic melting into your water. That's my only issue with Fiji. But the water is high quality. It's very great on the pH scale. But it's to each his own. I'm nobody's doctor. You do what you feel best. But after you got your water on, I want to make sure that you get up. You first and foremost, let me back it up a second. Make sure that you get a sufficient amount of sleep. We're not talking about how much sleep we're getting and how much sleep we're not getting. We need to discuss how much sleep we're getting because that's what's killing us right now. If you're not getting anywhere close to 8 hours a night, you're doing yourself a disservice. And I'm talking about good quality sleep. If you're not reaching the realm of sleep where you're dreaming, you're not even sleeping yet. We have to get there. Now, if you're anything like what I've been seeing in the world now too, another reason I know the food is killing us is because I'm from the era when every woman that I met was anemic. Okay, every black woman that I ran into was cold natured. She always had a blanket on, was always somewhat hot. Brother, y'all know what I'm talking about. You ever try sleeping with a black woman in the late 90s, early 2000s? In the wintertime, you know how fucking hot they keep their place. But now every woman I come in contact with and I have conversations with, they all say the same thing. I sleep with a fan all year long. I have my AC on at night. The reason why that is because they have so much glucose in our food, it is cooking us from the inside out. We're burning up at night, guys. Everybody's burning up. They're cooking us from the inside out. So I would say definitely make sure, try to get as quality amount of sleep as possible. The food that you're intaking, even if you try to eat some of the foods that you want to consistently eat, if you want to consistently keep eating largest amounts of meats and dairy and things like that, at least source the stuff from where you know you're getting it from. Because like what I mean with that is that eat it at home, damn it. Okay? Eat at home more. Stop buying from restaurants. These restaurants are dumping all kinds of shit into these foods and they're not being regulated. No one's checking them. I know we used to check in the back for nutritional facts and seeing how much stuff is and things like this. I'm telling you, they're lying on these packages, guys. Okay? So you can't even use that. The only thing you can trust is what you make. So make your stuff at home. That's another key to getting rid of brain fog. These are keys that I've learned. Stay away from certain nightshade vegetables, meaning certain leafy vegetables. Like I said, do not eat raw kale right now. Raw kale is not good for the Black American body. I can go into another time, but stay away from certain raw vegetables when it comes. And basically, it's certain ones, spinach, kale, certain things like that. And the only reason why I'm saying these for you now, if you're gonna eat those, but I say eat those before you eat a cheeseburger from McDonald's. But I'm just trying to tell you, if you have brain fog, these are things that you can do. Stay away from, stay away from tomatoes and onions and things like that. They were pretty good too until you clear out your system. If you, and I'm not telling you to go on the diet that I'm prescribing for you. This is the diet that I follow. But I think you should follow something what is called an AIP diet. It's an autoimmune protocol diet. Even if you've never been diagnosed with it, it's not going to hurt you to do this diet. And what I mean by using this diet is that autoimmune protocol diet removes any mucus-causing foods out of your diet. So that's what you want to do. You want to remove all mucus-causing foods out of your diet. You do not want those in those long-term. If you do this for an extended amount of time, and that's another thing. Remember, if you're doing any diet, you're doing any type of program, you're doing anything, remember, give it time. See, people's biggest issues is they want to jump out the gate instantly, and they want to jump out the gate and they want to. It didn't work. I did this for 2 days. It didn't work. No, it took years for your body to get broken down like this. So it's going to take years to fix it. If you get what I'm saying. So what do we do? So we got the water, we got the sleeping in, we got eating at home, eating an autoimmune diet, approved diet. Protein, get your body weight in protein every day. I don't care if you're getting it from meat, and if you are getting it from meat, get it from high source meats that you know who the ranchers are. If you're doing cows, get the chickens, you know where you're getting the chicken from. Figure out who's sourcing your food. You get that, you should be fine. But even with that one, just get your body weight. You can get your body weight in protein and pea proteins. You can take a supplement. You can take powders. There's a lot of ways of getting it. You can do it in a vegan way, in a vegetarian way, but get your protein in. Don't be like me. I went years thinking I could just eat some plants and vegetables. It was affected with my memory. Got those. Got that. Another thing, environmental things are affecting us. And I don't think people understand the importance of this. People, the internet is in your house, okay? You have 5G, to which we still, the FCC and people have told us they do not know the long-term effects of being exposed to 5G. I'm guilty of this as well. But what we need to do is we need to get to a point to where we are cutting our Wi-Fi's off at night when we're sleeping. You're basically baking your brain at night. It's a microwave damn near in your house all night long, all around. You got those waves going. You can't sleep in it. That's what's keeping you from sleeping. That's an environmental problem that we're having. Chemtrails outside, that they're spraying chemicals in the air. We ingesting these things. So you gotta have to learn to limit your contact. Where they have these filtered masks that you can wear. I'm not telling you to walk around here terrified, but I'm saying is, but if you're as bad as I had gotten, you may need these things to clear out your system. We're getting attacked environmentally. Your water, like I was just saying before, not just the water that you're drinking, the water you're putting on the skin. And I'm sorry I have to tell you all of this. I know this shit sounds overwhelming, but this is how bad it is. This is what we have to get to. But the more you know, the better you can do. Get you a filter so that way the filter's in your home, that's in your shower, that's in your sinks. You can't keep consuming this stuff that's coming out of these faucets, from the fluoride to the mercury and all the other stuff that's in those things. Get that shit out of your system, okay? So let's remove that. That's another thing to help. Stress. I know you've heard this before, but when I'm talking stress, I'm talking about people, these jobs, this world is stressing you out, and there's nothing you can do about it. So the things that you cannot control, I am imploring you to try your best to try to figure out something to help you navigate this stress, whether it's yoga, meditation, get with your old lady and just tell her hug you or something. Do something, but get the stress levels down. Find a place of peace. Disconnect from the stuff that goes on in the world. If you're anything like me, that's easier said than done sometimes, but we have to disconnect sometimes to make sure that we're getting what we need to get done. Okay? So that's another thing. Another thing. Let's limit the amount of prescription drugs we are taking. Now remember, every drug that you take is two things. One, has a side effect because they have the other chemicals in each one of them. So if you take that, you may be solving one problem, but you just know you're creating another one. That's one. The other thing when it comes to down to prescription drugs is this. All prescription drugs are a synthetic version of an herb. Well, if it's a synthetic version of the herb, you may want to get your hand on that herb. Now, I will tell you, I'm an herbalist. I have herbal classes. If you want to learn about herbs, I have an herbal one-on-one class. I can teach you all about what you need to do for keep your immune system up, to detox your system. We can do all of that. That's another one. Just thought of something else because of that. Detox. Sometimes you need to just go in there and detox your system. And I really do mean it. You have to detox your system. Some of us have so much candida sitting in our stomachs. We need to do a candida cleanse. We need to do a parasite cleanse. You could have a parasite just sitting in your stomach fucking your brain up. That generally happens. Okay, I know you don't think it's true, but it does. We may need to get you on some type of a cleanse. That's a good thing to do before you get started. Here's one that no one likes to do, but this one helped me a lot. Fasting. The most days I've ever fasted was 20 days of fasting. Now, don't get me wrong, I did not jump out the gate and do 20 days. I snowballed myself to 2 days here, 4 days here, 7 days here. And I was able to work up to 20 days. That helped a lot. Now, did it solve the brain fog issue? It did not, but it helped a lot. I'm just going to tell you the main thing that I think solved it all for me. It was 2. And like I said, from time to time, I still go through it from time to time, but it's nothing like it used to be. I felt hopeless at one point. I felt like I was going to die at one point. I wanted to die at one point. Suicide was something I thought about multiple times during that era. It's very hard. I felt very debilitated. And I was going to give you more tips, but let me say this to you guys, because I want you to know something. You are not alone out here if you're feeling this. And I started a support group on Facebook. So if you're hearing this and you want to join, let me know. Inbox me. I'll hook you in with the group. But I started a support group for this because it was affecting me so bad. And I thought I was the only one. I thought I was the only one in this world that was suffering this bad. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what was going on. And then I just was like, I just don't want to be here anymore. What's the purpose of being here? You're a burden. You can't think. You can't read. And see, you're talking to a person. I did stand up. And I said this on the previous thing before. I don't hide from my brain fog anymore. I used to be very embarrassed by this. But it was one of the main reasons I stopped doing stand-up comedy. I couldn't remember my set anymore. And then coming up with new material, oh my God, you couldn't even do any of that anymore. Then you have an insecurity. Every time you're going to hit the stage, you're going to have a brain fog. You're going to go out and you're not going to be able to remember what you're talking about. And if you don't know anything about stand-up is a fast-paced, real-life profession, okay? People are coming at you fast, hard, at all times. You got to be on your cues. And I just was insecure, couldn't do it. I had got into writing scripts and screenplays. Sold a few, actually. Damn good at it. And I had to shelf doing that because of that. You're talking to a person who's a vivid reader. Now, for about 3 or 4 years, I stopped reading completely. Can only listen to audiobooks, and that's very frustrating for me because I don't like audiobooks. I like physical books in my hand that I can read. I like that physical touch to the book. I also know this too, side note, guys. If you don't stop with all the ebooks, get your physical book. Remember, he who controls the internet, they could cut it off, you lose your whole collection of books just like that. Get physical books, okay? But I digress. So let's recap what we've talked about. So let's make sure we covered it all because this is a subject kind of came out of a whim because I read an email and I said I would cover it. Brain fog, like I said, is a very debilitating thing. It can make you feel like you do not function. It makes you feel slow, makes you feel retarded. I thought I had early dementia coming on. I really did. I thought I was losing my mind. Shit, I told you I had a long night. So, but I wasn't losing my mind. I did gain, I'm probably busting off a 90% now. I still never made it back to 100, but I'm busting off a 90. 90, I'll accept 90. Because I was down to maybe 50% at one point. It got so bad I couldn't work. It was embarrassing. It got so bad for me at one point. If I drove somewhere, I got lost, didn't know where I was going, just riding around aimlessly, trying to figure out where I was going. That's how bad it got. So it scares me to know that there's other humans out here on this planet right now who are going through that and think that they are alone for one, or think two, that there's no solution to this problem. It is. We can get through this. This brain fog thing, the way that I went through mine, I can walk you through it. And I kind of gave an overview today, but I can walk you through it, how I went about it. If you ever really, really want to know, contact me for a free consultation. We can talk about it. But I promise you, the way that you're functioning isn't how you're supposed to be functioning, and you can gain it back. The human body is a machine. It is a machine, and it's designed to heal itself. You just have to put it in a position for it to do so. So I just implore people who are dealing with this, don't quit, don't give up. You do have support out here. I am an advocate for this. I do not want to see anyone suffer with this. Please contact me. Please contact me if you need it. I want to be your support system. But outside of that, but that's it. Yeah, I definitely think that get your protein in Exercise daily. Lift heavy. Leave that cardio shit alone. Lift heavy. Let's squeeze some of this sugar out of our system. Let's get some of this mucus out of our skin. Let's get some quality sleep. Live the existence you want. Lastly, I'll say this. I said this many a times before to someone. I said that I think so many people are depressed nowadays is because so many people are not living the existence that they were designed to live. So what you're experiencing is that you're living someone else's existence for you, and you're dying a slow death because you can't figure out why you're struggling so hard. I say find your purpose, find your reasoning for being here, and everything will be all right. I promise you. Now, with that being said, I'm going to go and check out. That was today's episode. Hopefully it was a good one. I felt like it was kind of scattered, but we'll come back. If you guys want to do a second or a follow-up to it, where I can put some visuals and some stuff on the screen, let me know, and I'll definitely do so for you. But outside of that, I'll catch you guys tomorrow, definitely. I think I may have a special show for us. Or at least it's going to be special for me. So I'll check you guys later. Tune in then. And until then, the Scott Free Morning Show, people. I'm out.
Whoa. Before you leave this podcast and go somewhere else, did you hit the notification bell? Because if you didn't, please do so now. And I'm talking to the people who've already subscribed. But if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that as well. Hit the like button, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.